YouTubers! Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Auckland, New Zealand. What is happening in New Zealand? July 27, 2018, in the housing crisis. I've been discussing New Zealand for many years now with the meth-tested homes, homes that need to be meth-tested, people being put up in hotels, families living in, sleeping in cars. It's an absolute nightmare there. The New Zealand property is completely bought out of their own market. People have mass exodus the New Zealand capital because of that. And this article here, which I'm not going to read, is Auckland's New Zealand most leavable city. It's just a story about families leaving in mass exodus and starting a new life in smaller cities. The article, if you do want to read it, is called Auckland, New Zealand's most leavable city, if you want to read it. But we're going to look at this one, the root of the problem. Overseas house buying activity mostly concentrated in Auckland, latest figures show. Overseas buyers accounted for 22% of homes purchased in central Auckland's, I can't even say that, Waitemata ward in the June quarter of this year, up from 19% of March quarter, according to New Zealand Statistics New Zealand. Look at that. So people buying, and the New Zealand proper is way out of reach for these properties. And Waitemata ward includes some of Auckland's most expensive suburbs, such as Grey Lynn, possibly Herne Bay, Parnell, and Gulf Islands, as well as the central business district of Newton, where many smaller apartments of the type often occupied by students are located. There were also significant overseas buyers in the activity of Auckland suburb, Upper Harbour 9.2%, Henderson Massey 5.2%, Davenport 4.8%, Howick 8.2%, Hibiscus Coast Bays 5.5%. So I'm going to keep going. Everything in Auckland region as a whole, the share of homes sold to overseas buyers dropped by 6.6% in June. In June quarter, down by 7.3% in the March quarter. Another area with high overseas buyers activity is Queenston Lakes District, where 5.2% of sales were to overseas buyers in the June quarter, down 9.7% in the March quarter. Throughout the entire country, 2.8% of sales in the June quarter were overseas buyers, down from 3.3% in the March quarter. However, these numbers may significantly understate the level of overseas buying activity taking place because they exclude the sales made by companies and other corporate entities, which make up 11% of sales in the June quarter. Holy smokes. Information on the ownership of these corporates by the New Zealander are overpriced, or overseas, or New Zealanders are overseas people, in not currently available in Statistics New Zealand. Of course it's not available! You're not supposed to know what's happening in your own country! The figures mean that a trust was set by overseas buyer, the settler, which has overseas trustees, and overseas beneficiaries, which could count it as a local buyer if one of the trustees was a New Zealand citizen, and the trustee could a local accountant or a lawyer working on behalf of the offshore client. In the meantime, the government watered down the version of the Overseas Investment Amendment Bill, which is intended to restrict purchases of residential property by overseas buyers, is slowly to proceed through the parliamentary process. The bill has been tabled as to discuss in Parliament next Wednesday, will come before the House of its third of the final reading sometime in the following weeks. So guys, this is not good, what's happening in New Zealand. New Zealand, and I've been saying this, has been selling out to the highest bidders, bringing people onto the shore, bringing people onto its shores that are basically buying up these cities and leaving them empty. And I think, Phil Tyford, the new housing minister there in New Zealand, they were discussing this whole new administration that's in New Zealand right now, was voted in on the pretense to protect the New Zealand proper, and saving their land and keeping it glorious and free. And they're trying to put in this big law where foreigners can't buy anymore, but they always find loopholes. So something needs to happen in New Zealand, especially with the amount of people sleeping in cars, the amount of people leaving the major cities but not contributing to the infrastructure anymore, seeing a decline in garbage pickups. Oh, we don't need that much garbage pickup anymore. There's so many empty homes, so we'll just do garbage pickup once a week or once a month. You know, it's going to get to that. And Auckland will become a paper city. I've been talking about paper cities for the longest time. It's this grand illusion I have in my head that other cities will have to support Auckland's infrastructure because no one's being taxed there anymore. So other smaller cities, like Christchurch and other cities in the area, will have to start sending money to the big capital because they're going to demand it, because everything's pretty much boarded up and there's no more people being taxed in the infrastructure middle class, because the middle class is not buying anymore, because the middle class wages are nowhere close. Remember the article I read for you guys on trends in the housing market, and I read it independently, an independent article that was written that there's 40 people to a house in some of the cities in Australia, where 40 people living in a home, and it's like a dog kennel. So I really feel for the people down under. I really feel for them. I really hope we could get this message out there to actually start making moves. Not more social housing, more better jobs created to create wealth in the middle class. And if the middle class disappears, it's called the working poor now, by the way. If the middle class disappears, it's over, guys. New Zealand is headed the same way as Australia and Canada and the United States, the way it's headed right now. No one wants to prop the middle class anymore. No one's investing in the middle class anymore. Governments are investing in the highest bidders that come on shore. Let me know what you guys think. Comment below. Thanks for watching.